would you grade the offense through your first 3 weeks?
I think we're a work in progress. We're evolving. I wouldn't give it a letter grade right now, but we're not where we need to be, and we're not where we're going to be. I think we're a work in progress. We're evolving every day. I'm very appreciative of how the guys come out and practice and what we've been able to do this week leading into Thursday night.
Specifically to the run game, what do you think you can see more of from that group right now?
Yeah, I don't think you've seen everything that we will do in the run game, to this point. That group is extremely hard work, and they do a great job if you're talking about the offensive line specifically, but it's a group effort in the run game, whether that's an RPO tag, whether that's something we're doing at receiver with the blocking structure, whether that's our motions. So I think we obviously want that improved, and I think you will see that improve.
Coach Pride talked this week about wanting to be not predictable on
Right.
offense, and I know you're still trying to get used to the weapons that you have there
Right.
and different guys. Do you feel like you have a good handle on that and ability to mix things up when you need to?
I think we're getting better every week as far as getting a handle on our personnel. Obviously, that evolves week to week with who's available and who's going to play and who's 100%. But I think we're still learning our guys, but we've got a much better grasp on that going into this game than we had in the 3 previous for sure.
Was the showing from the receivers last week encouraging that so many guys caught passes?
It was very encouraging. Yeah, it was very encouraging. It was good to see that many guys get involved in the pass game. I thought Grant did a really nice job. I think, the big thing that we wanted to do coming out of week 1 that I think you've been able to see the last couple of weeks is just minimize the things that we can control. Pre-snap penalties, the turnovers. That's a big part of playing winning football. So we've done that, and now we've got to continue to evolve and get better and get more consistent with what we're doing schematically.
When you have an offense like they do on the other side of the ball, does that change? How does that impact how you call plays and what you're trying to get done when you have the ball?
Do they have an offense?
Yeah,
I've
good.
only been watching the
Yeah,
defense,
I'm
so
sure
no, I
does
know.
Does that play into it at all? The explosiveness that they have.
I think every week we have a conversation on what should be our strategy to play complementary football. And I think any good staff, that's what you want to do. We want to make sure that offense, defense, and special teams are all complementing each other and giving us the best chance to win. And that's a conversation we usually have later in the week. But no, I haven't paid much attention to offense, but I am aware of it, and I don't know if that changes who we're trying to grow to as an identity piece, but obviously it's something you're aware of in every game, what gives your team the best chance to win.
But speaking of that, I guess so far they've given you guys some leeway. Your defense is, speaking of complementary football,
Right.
has given you guys some leeway. How nice has that been for you to you're not chasing games,
Yeah. Those guys have done a great job. I just watch the energy and the effort with our guys play. We come in on Sundays and we show kind of 2 plays on offense, 2 plays on defense, 2 plays on special teams. And I think it's interesting because you're kind of in your silo as a coach. You're worried about the offense, you're worried about the tight ends, you're worried about your position, but then you see a play of a defensive end rushing the passer, not getting the sack, but getting up and tackling a ball carrier for a 1-yard gain. So I think those guys have done an excellent job, and obviously it plays into it with what they've been able to do on defense.
Has the Grant Wells we've seen the last couple of weeks been more in line with what you saw in the preseason?
100%. And I've never lost faith in him at any rate. When you look at the entire season, there's been a couple moments that I think everybody'd like to have back, but Grant's a very confident guy. I think what you've seen the last couple of weeks, him protecting the football, also what we were able to do a little bit getting the pass game going last week, that's who he can be and that's who he is.
Well, you had running backs that are basically game time decisions every week now. How does that change your adjustment for that part of the offense when you're not quite certain who you're going to have?
I think it changes a little bit from what we want to do schematically. Like there's a lot of tag personnels where we want to get certain guys in on certain plays. But I think that group's done a nice job of picking up the slack. Obviously, we've got to get better in every area. I think the big thing right now is just each of the 11 guys doing his job, right? And by doing your job at the highest level, you're going to be able to complement the other pieces around you. But yeah, it's been something that obviously we have to look at every week. Who's going to be available and who's going to be able to start, who's going to be able to take the most carries. But I think that group as a whole is complementary, and you'll continue to see multiple backs in the game.
So the healthier you get, that
Yeah.
expands your options.
I think it does. It evolves what you can be schematically, right? Different guys excel in it, and ultimately it's our job to continue trying to minimize our weakness and put our guys in a position to be of strength, right? With what they're most successful at, and we try to do that every week.
You've thrown to the tight ends quite a bit this year, more than Virginia Tech has in recent years. Is that just you're sort of conducive to that because you're the tight ends coach, or is it the personnel that you have that's leading to that those guys have the skills that are sort of highlighted with what you want to do?
It's certainly not because I'm their coach. I want to do whatever helps us matriculate the ball down the field and be explosive. But, I think it's an interesting room. I think Nick Gallo's got a lot to give when it comes to that. You've got Connor Blumrick as a piece to use in different ways on the perimeter. We've been able to use him in multiple ways. They're a group that can certainly add to our offense. So I think when and if those opportunities come for them, I trust them to have the ball in their hands.
What have you seen from the offensive line as far as improvement goes through the first 3 weeks? And what do you hope to see that continue with that group?
Yeah, it's not the offensive line. It's everyone on the entire offense. Just continue to hone in on the details, and like I said earlier, just doing their job. They're 1/11th. What I've seen from those guys is I think they have done an excellent job the last couple of weeks building on the communication piece. It all starts there. I mean, that's a fundamental of our program. Those guys communicating, making sure everyone's on the same page, and I've seen that grow, and that's a start, right? That's the starting point of it, is making sure that we're able to get off on the right track.